Okay, people, here we are again, and I just want to say each and every one of you who's ever watched one of my videos is in trouble because y'all is shady and you didn't help me out. I never have gone back and watched any of my videos until I thought it'd be cool. Me and my husband were sitting there, we're on YouTube trying to show my kids something. I'm just gonna put one of my YouTubes on real quick. First thing I see is 18 chins because my angle was down here. So I got a different little holster for my phone here. Probably not making much of a difference, and it's only in my mind, but yeah, y'all are shady. You could have mentioned like that's a little bit of an aggressive angle. Okay, so are you tired? Have you been tired for 6 or more months? Do you have post-exertional malaise? Do you have pain? Do you have hypersomnia, insomnia? Well, guess what? You've gone to all the doctors with this fatigue that's cropped up and is now controlling your life, and they have no answers. They're doing all these tests. You're trying supplements and nothing's making any difference. So guess what? You probably have chronic fatigue syndrome. It's going to be a pretty dismal and bleak outlook if you go on Dr. Google and look that up. It's going to tell you there's no way to recover, maybe some gradual exercise, which, you know, I'm not going to go too deep into all that. But it's not the way that I believe this should be approached. So this is my YouTube channel. I get to say what I believe based off of all my years of doctors and supplements and my own particular experiences and my personality and what is working for me. So, and I majorly promote every single person taking what anybody says, especially somebody online, because even I know it, even I'm doing it. It's not 100% everything. There's only so much we can share, so much we can share honestly online. So take everything anyone says and put it through your own filter. Put really a finely meshed filter, because you are your own unique special person with your own peculiarities and proclivities. So yeah, it's, you know, what you gotta, I say, you know, take what works and leave the rest, right? So after all of that, my hypothesis, my conclusion is that emotional overload played a key role, played the main character in my becoming sick and my staying sick. And so the mind-body approach, nervous system regulation, journal speak is the key player in my getting better. However, what this video is really about, if you've come here and you have fatigue and you're not even sure what journal speak is, and you're finding out about it and you dive into it. Now there's a camp that I have recently uncovered that believes that you now need to only focus on the mind, body, emotional approach to healing. If you do anything else, take magnesium, whatever it be, probiotic, anything to help yourself recover or heal, that you are living in fear still and that you will not recover. So I think there are people that maybe need that. I'm gonna break it down how I feel about it and why. So I obviously don't believe that. Let's use a really easy, clear example. Irritable bowel syndrome. That was my first diagnosis 15 years ago. Or I didn't get the diagnosis until 10 years ago, but it was my first symptom, irritable bowel syndrome, and constipation in particular. Now this is a widely accepted mind-body syndrome. It is very much falls under the umbrella of TMS, mind-body, and anxiety-driven syndrome. So that's not just my opinion. There's lots of science to back it up, that anxiety and stress in your brain is going to cause stomach issues. The mind-body axis is not just, it goes beyond the mind-body approach. It's that's in popular science, which is, so is the mind-body approach. If you do a little digging, there's a lot of science to back that up as well. So how I would approach irritable bowel syndrome and how I have, let's say how I'm approaching it currently. Currently, I'm okay to take magnesium every day. It helps me. It's the one supplement I still take, always. It helps me with sleep, helps me with mood, helps me with digestion, everything. Helps me with muscle relaxation. I take probiotics when I wake up. I eat fermented foods. I don't follow any particular diet. Like in IBS, there's the FODMAP. Believe me, I did that many times. And now what I want to also say about this is, while I am doing things, and I think it's okay to do things that are preventative, that are supporting your system, is that they have to be approached through love and not fear. Now, okay, let's break that down, because that sounds pretty lame of me to just say love and not fear, go for it. Like, I get it. Like, what is that? What the hell does that mean? What does that really mean? Because I can tell you right now that when I was taking the most supplements, doing the most preventative things and the most supportive things, technically, that functional medicine, Western medicine, naturopaths, anyone would have said, this is great, this girl's doing everything. I've never been sicker. It was the lowest time for me. And because all of those things were just, I had like a 3-hour morning routine, and I had to hit every single part of it. Otherwise, I was in fear, I was in panic. I was sure that my crash was going to be horrible if I woke up and I didn't immediately say three things I was grateful for and sit there in meditation for 10 minutes and then immediately ground to the earth and get the light in my eyes from the sun. And I've said all this before probably, but I just had like a lot of you're reading things online, you're hearing it's your adrenals, you've got candida, you've got irritable bowel, you've got chronic fatigue, and you're just doing all the little things that every little guru is telling you. And they just compound, and now you've got this now you've got this huge list of things that you have to do, and it's so much, and you can't even live a life. And your symptoms are getting worse, which is making it harder to comply with these things that you've piled up that you have to do every day. And obviously some of them cost money and they take time, and it's just not realistic. I at that time was I made a video about why rest made me sicker, and it's because I took everything away from my life because I thought I needed all my time to heal. I had to do all these things, so I had no time to work, have friends, do anything. I couldn't eat out, I couldn't travel, nothing. So my life shrank to nothing, and I focused so much on healing, and it just made me so much sicker because all of it was approached out of fear. And let me just, I'm here to be vulnerable, I'm here to be honest, and I think what I'm about to tell you pretty much is true for all of us. Now, there might be a few of you, especially maybe a couple men, although men struggle with this too. It was straight up body image stuff. It was straight up, I was fat in my head, or whatever. Let's be honest, this is what it was. It was, I needed to be the best looking, sexiest, most attractive, thinnest person in any room I was in, or I did not feel worthy. I did not feel, and you know what, I've never been the thinnest person in any room I was in pretty much, so I never felt worthy. And I just was, everything in my life was about getting was this body that I needed. And it was more things. It was also just success in general, but that if I was thinner and looked better, I would get the success. I would get the better job. I would get the promotions. I would get to go to the better schools and play the better sports and just have the admiration of the people that I so wanted. And it really came to a head in my 20s. I never had body image issues before that, so it's so obvious to me, anyway, that it was all at this time that like social media was starting to come into play, and I was in my 20s out of college, and how I was being judged in the world was based off of career and success, and I thought that the way I looked was holding me back in those things. So it all came together, that body image was so important to me, and that the second I could no longer exercise and lose weight because I had chronic fatigue and I couldn't exercise, that I just fell into a fucking panic spiral. Sorry, I'm trying not to say curse words because I don't mind them, but some people do, and I don't want to turn anyone off from a message that could help them. So yeah, that's it. I mean, so why I think it's important to talk about that is all the supplements, I was doing all of them, but they were all approached out of fear. So how have I kind of turned that around? This is why I think the mind-body approach and journal speak is so crucial, because I was aware of those things. I wasn't dumb. Like, I knew I was focused on those things. I knew that's what had brought on my crash to some level, but I also just wanted, like, it was weak to think about those emotions and stuff. I had to focus on getting better, or like not being weak, basically. Let's say that, because I journaled for many years. It wasn't until journal speak that I now allowed myself to feel what I already knew, to really understand it, to understand that fear, that those limiting beliefs, that I wish I could just come up with it in like one sentence, that basically that I was just living to appeal to other people. That was my entire life. And that doing that had taken away who I actually was, all joy, all creativity, all love, and just left me in fear. Where was I going exactly with this? I didn't want to use, like, I've seen people like use a teleprompter and all this stuff. I've tried it. I've looked at the way it looks, and might get my message across better, but it doesn't feel natural, and I'm not here to be like a YouTuber, so I'm here to just kind of try to get this message out. And I'm doing, so honestly, these videos are for me, because that place that I was in for so long, that level of fear and like body image stuff, I would have never recorded this video. I have acne right here that I just touched and it's all red. I probably got my little moustache growing in, haven't bleached her in a while, like whatever. Just the fact of the whatever, I needed to be perfect. Everything needed to be perfect before this could happen. I didn't want to be recording it on a 3-generation-old iPhone. Just I didn't want it to be in my car. Like it all had to be perfect. And through journal speak, the reality of like it's enough. I'm already enough. This is okay. It can get better. It doesn't have to be perfect to start living. I needed to be perfect to start living, so I never lived. Ooh, maybe there's my sentence. I brought it away. Again, these videos are really for me, but they're for me because it helps me break down that fear I had. Like I'm not living in that fear anymore. The fact that I hit record and I'm probably going to put this on the internet, and chances are just a few people will see it. People I'll never know, but as we saw by the Coldplay CEO, billion people could see it if you know, whatever, maybe I pick my nose in the middle and don't remember and I post it and someone thinks it's funny and I become a meme. Like that's what could happen on the internet. You can get canceled. It can be a big deal. I know that this won't be. I know that only like 30 of you are going to watch this, so I'm not too worried. But it's still the idea that even 30 people would watch it, and I know how YouTube works. The second I hit record, the second you hit play, you're judging. Whether you might be the kindest person in the world, how can you not? Like, oh, that's how her mouth moves. Oh, that's how her hands move. Oh, her face looks like that. I mean, we're human. That's what we do. And that idea of judgment coming upon me, I couldn't live with it. The fear of it crushed me. So how do I approach things now? Yes, I still believe it's okay to take my probiotic and to eat well. But I really try to, I think I removed that layer of fear that was controlling everything, that everything I did, every part of my life was around just that fear of the way I looked and other people's thoughts and admirations. And anyway, that's what changed, the mindset shift from just absolute fear. And I would have never gotten there without making my emotional overload, which is what I like to call it that. That's what I've been calling it. It makes sense to me. Basically, there was so much input coming into me, as Nicole Sachs calls it, my reservoir just overflowed. So it's emotional overload. It's just anxiety. It's thoughts. It's rumination. It's, you know it, you do it, you live it. You're living it probably if you're watching this, which God bless us all. You know, it's hard to be a human. Our brains really just they cause a lot of suffering, and they have caused me a lot of suffering. And so again, I do these videos for me. However, each and every, like when I was really in my pit of despair, I promised myself I was going to do something. And again, I thought I had to be perfect in order to start to do something to share what got me better. So I'm not perfect yet, and I always feel obliged to say that I'm still struggling. I'm still facing fear every day. I'm still facing symptoms every single day. Oh, I didn't turn off my air, so you probably got to hear all my air conditioner in the background. I'm gonna get a little mic soon, although I looked them up, they're kind of expensive. So I'm gonna get a cheap little mic. Hopefully that'll help with the audio a little bit. Anyway, now I've lost my train of thought again. But yeah, so that's the point, is that each and every single one of you, every view, every comment, every subscriber, I don't just look at it as a number. I really am like, oh my God, like I have a video with over 2,000 views. That means over 2,000 people might be in that absolute just level of pain and despair that I was in, just looking for an olive branch that they can grab onto in their typhoon of pain, like that they're drowning in. And if that's you, if you clicked on this video because you have fatigue and it leads you to understanding you have chronic fatigue, or if you've had it for a long time and you already know about the journal speak and the mind body stuff, and that's how you found the video and that's why you're sticking around, and just my words might give you maybe one more level of like, oh yeah, the body image stuff, you know, I've got that, I know that. Maybe the journal speak could open up something for me, or maybe I've tried journal speak and it just didn't click and I didn't get that far in it. And it's hard for me every day still. Like some days there's like these great epiphanies, but most of the time there's not. most of the time I'm getting distracted, I'm rambling, I'm not getting to the deep stuff, or I'm having to really be present and pull it on out of me. But it helps. It continues to help. It continues to chip away at my symptoms, some of which are worse than they've ever been, but most of which are completely gone and or much better. So just for clarity, I have Achilles tendonitis and plantar fasciitis that have been flaring for like a month or so. And I had plantar fasciitis probably all the time for like 10 or 15 years, but this is worse than it's ever been. And my Achilles are really bad too. However, my IBS, my chronic fatigue, I would say my IBS and my insomnia are pretty much not in my life anymore, and those were some of the worst things. My chronic fatigue, I can't say is totally gone. I still get like that like deep like brain fog fatigue and have crashes occasionally, and it's sticking around, and you know, it's tough. I wish it was totally gone, but it's not yet, and I'm just gonna keep sticking with this and hope that it slowly keeps chipping away at it. I know there were a bunch more insights, and I just kind of don't want to stop recording until I get to them, but I can't totally remember, and I don't want to waste everybody's time rambling. But I think that was the crux of it. It's basically, you know, I kind of like, I don't want to say it was clickbait, but like, are you tired? Just to kind of reach like more people, you know, maybe me in the first like few weeks of my illness, like, why am I so tired? What is this? Like, which is important, because even though I think since COVID with post-viral and long COVID, that this is a lot easier to find this kind of information and understand it. But I spent like 6 years, maybe more, like without I didn't get diagnosed with chronic fatigue for like 6 years of like my long crash into my deep crash, and like 11 years into like symptoms and issues. So that's ridiculous. I should have never suffered that long. I think part of it was me maybe not pursuing it as hard as I could have. I really did I was so fed up with doctors and stuff that I gave up at a certain point. But yeah, the other part of this video was to just be like, you can still take care of yourself. You can still do things to take care of yourself. Maybe I'll make a video more specifically on that, but it's basically just to be maybe a little outlandish and give extreme example of like, just because you know it's TMS, if you believe in that term, or emotional overload or nervous system, or that the root cause or a huge culprit in your chronic pain and illness that's uncurable, that doctors can't figure out, that they have no answer for, and everything you've tried isn't working, and you're just kind of living in hell trying to figure it out. The truth is that you can still take care of yourself. So even though you know it's mind body, doesn't mean you're just gonna like start smoking cigarettes and sit on your couch all day and then wonder why you're not getting better, just because you're doing journal speak for 20 minutes a day. So you should be better, like everything should be better, right? And now you're having heartburn and all these issues, but you did journal speak. Well, I know that's extreme, and you're not all just sitting on the couch smoking cigarettes and, you know, binge eating or whatever, but it's an extreme example of what's true. So just because it's TMS doesn't mean you can't get a massage, you know, maybe still go see your physical therapist, maybe take some medications, whatever you need to get better. Because again, you're your own unique individual person, and I don't personally take any pharmaceutical medication, but if your chronic pain and your chronic illness requires it just to get to a level where you can heal, then I think that's okay. And I think it's okay to take the magnesium, and I think it's okay to do a parasite cleanse, and I think it's okay to do a liver cleanse or whatever, as long as it's not, if I do this, it has to cure me, and that's all I care about. And if it doesn't, I'm just going to be crushed. Now, we're all human. I still, let's be honest, like I still am like, I'm going to eat like this for a week and I'm probably going to get a lot better, right? And you know, I never do, but it's part of the game, maybe. Anyway, if you're here, if you're connecting with the message, again, I do these videos for myself, but I also think every single person I reach could possibly be helped by this, and hopefully as my videos get better, they reach more people. But the only way that's going to happen is if you guys engage with my videos. So if you're watching this and you're not subscribed, which is like 90% of my watchers, please subscribe. Please comment, because again, this is a lonely place, still in my chronic fatigue place, and I'm a stay-at-home mom. So this camera is the first human I've seen is myself looking into a camera, besides my kids today. So yeah, just give me any sort of comment, any sort of thoughts. I don't always reply now because I'm getting a few more than I can reply to, but I always read every single one and think about them. and think I'm going to reply, but as a typical mom, I never get back to it. And yeah, if you could, you know, hit the like button and maybe share it with anyone else you think it could help. But yeah, I'm glad you guys are here, and I'm always wishing you that you find some healing and some peace. Bye-bye.